Hi everyone, welcome to Rodha. In today's video, we'll be discussing the sets of All India Open mock. Now, if I talk about the sets, so while I was solving, I found the sets to be moderate to difficult level sets. They were not easy, definitely not easy at all, right? And if you have, let's say, cracked one set also in this particular, mock completely with all questions correct, I believe you're in the top 5% of the, the people who are preparing for CAT 2024, right? So please don't be demotivated if you were only able to crack one set thinking what will you do in CAT exam. The sets were on the higher difficulty level and it was not easy to crack two sets. If somebody has cracked two sets in this particular mock, that means that person is definitely a 99.5 plus percentile sitting here, right? So why do we put moderate to difficult level sets? Because we want all of you to be prepared for the worst scenario, right? CAT is an unpredictable exam. If somebody tells that you'll get one easy set, one easy to moderate, and one moderate to difficult, and one difficult, trust me, these are just talks. CAT is unpredictable. We have seen last year how algebra came last year, right? People focused on arithmetic, right? And the questions of algebra were 2-layer, 3-layer questions, right? So anything can happen in CAT. Even LRDI can go on the difficult side. So one should always be prepared for the worst scenario, right? And that is how these difficult mocks, I would not say difficult, but moderate to difficult mocks help you to, prepare you for the D-Day. So on this note, let's get started with the video solutions here. So let's start with the first set here. This is the Rocky Pinting, coach of Mumbai Indians, on your screen, right? Let us have a look at this set now. It says Rocky Pinting, coach of the Mumbai Indians men's cricket team for the IPL 2024 season, has to select 5 batsmen for the top 5 positions. Alright. They have shortlisted 8 players, that is Pollard, Sachin, Kapil, Rohit, Patel, Akash, Vishal and Jitesh. Okay. He has to keep in mind the following parameters while making the selection. So there are certain parameters that are supposed to be kept in mind for making the team. Now the sum of strike rate of the two openers should be at least 340. Alright, so the strike rate of the two openers should be at least 340. The sum of CI must be some parameter, should be at least 50. He can spend at most rupees 7.5 crore on the openers. Alright, so we have following information here, that is the strike rate, sum of the openers should be at least 40. That is a minimum of 40. At least means minimum should be 40. It can exceed more than that. CI also should be at least 50, right? And the money that he can spend on the openers is max of 7.5 CR. Alright. Now, exactly 1 out of Patel and Jitesh must be selected, and at least 1 out of Kapil and Akash must be selected, right? Now, please be very careful while reading this. It says exactly 1 out of Patel and Jitesh must be selected. So, either Jitesh is selected or Patel is selected. Both of them cannot be selected together, right? But when it says at least 1 out of Kapil and Akash must be selected, so when I say at least 1 must be selected, so either the possibility is Kapil is selected or only Akash is selected, or both Kapil and Akash can also be selected. So these are the set of conditions that I have so far. The average strike rate of the batsman should be at least 150. Alright, now out of all the 5 batsmen that have been selected, if their average strike rate is 150, so can I say their total strike rate would be nothing but 150 into 5, that is 750. Why? Because total is always equal to average into number of observations, right? So the total strike rate is going to be 750. The average CI of a batsman should be at least 30. Okay, so CI average is at least 30. Okay, now this is at least, right? So this is a minimum. It can exceed this, but this is the minimum possible value. It cannot be lower than this, right? So again, I can say total CI for the 5 batsmen can be 150, and this is again the minimum value, right? The total amount spent should not exceed rupees 17 crore. Alright, so the total amount spent on the 5 players should not exceed 17 crore, and 7.5 crore was nothing but for the openers of the team, right? So I cannot exceed 7.5 crore for the openers of the team, and I cannot exceed 17 crore for the total, right? Now further it says out of the 5 batsmen selected, 2 batsmen will perform the role of the openers. Okay, so there are 2 openers definitely. If the selection of 5 players is same in 2 combinations, but the set of openers is distinct, it is said to be a distinct combination. Alright. Now, if the selection of the 5 players in the 2 combinations is same, right? Let's say I make 2 teams which have same 5 set of players, right? But I can have different openers for them, then it is said to be a distinct combination. Alright. So I think I'm pretty good with the information that we have here. So let's start. We have the table here. We have the strike rate of each of the player. Okay, so CI is the consistency index, and we have the price in crore. Okay, so this is not Prince, this is basically price in crores, right? And I'll first figure out who can be my openers, right? So let's try to figure out my openers here. So strike rate is at least 40. Strike rate is not at least 40, should be 340, right? Sorry, my bad. The strike rate is at least 340, right? And CI is 50. Alright, so if I look at a strike rate to be at least 340, right? So who can be my possible openers? Let's first focus on a strike rate. Okay, so if I start with Pollard, right? So Pollard has a 160. So to make it 340, right? If I want the strike rate to be 340, if I'm selecting Pollard, so who can be the possible pairs with Pollard I can have as opener? So if 160 is there and the total strike rate should be minimum of 340, right? So if I want the strike rate to be 340, I should have minimum 180. So Pollard and Kapil can be 2 openers, right? After 180, I want a minimum value of 180 or larger than 180. So Pollard and Kapil is possible, or Pollard and Akash is possible. This is on the basis of the, I can say, the strike rate, right? Now let's talk about the CI. Let's measure the CI for these 2 pairs, right? So CI should be at least 50, right? There should be a minimum of 50, right? The minimum possible CI for the openers has to be 50. It cannot be less than 50. Now if you look at Pollard and Kapil, right? So 24 plus 22 is nothing but 46. It does not reach to 50 marks. So can Pollard and Kapil be the 2 openers? Not, definitely not, right? What about Pollard and Akash? Pollard is 24, Akash is 25, right? 24 plus 25 makes it 49. So that is again not reaching 50. So because the CI is not reaching 50, these 2 combinations are not possible. They could have been the openers if their CI would have reached the given mark, and then I would have checked the third parameter, that is the price as well, right? So on the basis of strike rate itself, they could have been the openers, but because CI is not satisfying, it is not reaching the 50 mark, these people cannot be the openers, right? Now let's look at the second guy. Now if you look at Sachin, right? If you look at Sachin, he has only 125, right? And if Sachin has only 125, so to make it reach 340, right? So if I want the total to reach 340, I can say the minimum is required strike rate for the other batsman should be 340 minus 125, right? Now what is 340 minus 125? That is nothing but, I can say, 215, right? And 215, none of the other batsmen have a strike rate, right? So Sachin can never be my opener, right? Sachin can never be my opener. So I'll put a bar here, and Pollard also cannot be my opener, right? So these 2 people are definitely ruled out. Now let's talk about Kapil. Kapil has a 180, right? So along with 180, I need maximum of 160. We have already seen Kapil with Pollard, that has not worked out. So I'm gonna go only downward direction. And if I need a 160 more, a minimum of 160, so can I say only one person fits in? That is Akash, right? So I can say Kapil and Akash, right? Along with Kapil, I can have Akash as my second opener, right? Now if Akash is my second opener, so their 180 plus 214 in terms of strike rate, the 180 plus 214 is definitely crossing my 340 mark, right? So that definitely satisfies. And how much does it come out to be? It comes out to be 4, 9 and 3, so that is 394. Alright, can I have anybody else? I need a 160 minimum to make it 340, right? It should be at least 340, so greater than equal to 340. And I don't have anybody else who has a 160 or more than that, right? So it has to be Kapil and Akash, right? Now let's check their consistency index. Is it crossing the 50 mark? So Kapil has 22, right? And Akash has 25, which is again not possible. Why? Because 22 plus 25 is only 47. But the minimum requirement for the consistency index has to be of 50, right? So that is again not possible. So these 2 people also cannot be my set of openers, right? Now let's move further. if I talk about Rohit now, so Rohit has a 142, right? To make it 340, I would need almost how much? Let's see. Okay, so if I have Rohit, right? So to make it 340, I would need, I can say 340 minus 142. So minimum that I would read is nothing but I can say 8, and this is 9, and this is 2, right? So 298, right? And 298 is strike rate. I don't think anybody has, sorry, not 298, should be 198, isn't it? Why? 198 plus 2 is 200 plus 140 is 340, right? And 198 is strike rate. The only person possible is I can say Akash again, because he has the highest strike rate of 214, right? So Akash and Rohit is a possible combination. Let's check this consistency index. Is it 50 or not, right? So Akash and Rohit, I would say, is a possible combination. Their strike rate is gonna be, I can say, let me just quickly add the strike rate of Akash and Rohit here. So Akash and Rohit, the strike rate is, I would say, 142 plus 214 is nothing but, I would say, I'll probably write it here. So the strike rate for these two guys is gonna be 142 plus 214. That makes it total of, I can say, 6, 5 and 256, right? So 256 is the strike rate for 356, my bad. 356 is the strike rate for Akash and Rohit, right? Now let's talk about their consistency index, right? So Akash has a consistency index of 25 and Rohit has a consistency index of 31. So that makes it definitely greater than 50, right? So it is meeting my required condition. 25 plus 31, that is 56, right? And then we have the money spent, the price, right? So price spent on Akash and Rohit is how much? I can say 2.4 CR on Rohit and Akash 4.8. So 4.8 plus 4 is 0.4 is 5.2. That makes it a 7.2 CR, which is still in my range, right? So which is still in my range. Why? Because the money spent on openers can be maximum of 7.5 crores, right? So I have definitely figured out one of my set of openers, that is Akash and Rohit, right? Now with Akash and Rohit here, I have the strike rate as 356. Their CI value combined is 56, and the price spent so far is, I can say, nothing but 7.2 crores, right? So this is one of the combinations that I have, right? Now Patel, anyways, it's not possible because 110 I need 230 around to make it 340, so not possible. 152 Vishal and Akash also can be my set of openers. Why? Because this sum is gonna cross my range of 340, right? So let me check for Akash and Vishal, right? So 214 and 152 is definitely greater than 340. 25 plus 28 is 53, which is also exceeding my required limit of CI. And 4.8 and 2.7 is exactly 7.5 crores, and which is allowed, right? Because it says at most 7.5 crores, so 7.5 CR is definitely allowed. So the other two set of openers can be definitely Akash and Vishal, right? So I'll say I have another set of openers, which is, I'm gonna write it here, Akash and Vishal, right? So for Akash and Vishal, the strike rate combined for them is nothing but, I can say, 214 plus 152, that makes it 6 and 366, right? So that is 366. Their combined CI was nothing but 53. We just added 28 plus 25, right? And their combined price spent so far is nothing but 7.5 CR, right? Now we have found our set of two possibilities for the openers, right? Now we also had a condition that either of Jitesh or Patel definitely has to be selected, right? Either Jitesh or Patel, one of them has to be selected, right? Now let's make combinations. Akash, Rohit, I'll pair it with Jitesh if Jitesh is selected, okay, and if Patel is selected, right? And again I'll make two combinations here if Jitesh is selected and if Patel is selected, right? Now for Jitesh and Patel, first let's write down their the strike rate, the consistency index and the price, right? So 110, 42 and 2.9, okay, so 110, 42 and 2.9, right? For Jitesh 110, 42 and 2.9, right? For Patel it is how much? Let's see for Patel. Okay, my bad, this is for Patel, right? So Jitesh is 120, 36 and 30. Okay, so sorry, my bad. So this is for Patel, 110, 42, and we had a 2.9. so this is for the person Patel, and for Patel again I have 110, 42, 2.9, right? And for Jitesh we have 120, 36 and 3.7. okay, so 120, 36 and 3.7 is the set of values that I have for Jitesh, right? Now any of the four combinations can be possible, right? So if I combine with the current strike rate, so the new strike rate for all the three of them, right? If I'm going with this combination, Akash, Rohit and Jitesh, then the possibility will be 356 is already there. I add 120, so that makes it how much? I can say 6, right? Then I have a 7 and I'll have a 476, right? Consistency index used will be how much? I can say 56 plus 36, that is again I would say 50 and 30 is 80 and 6 and 6 is 12, so that makes it a 92. And price 7.2 is already used, right? So 7 and 3 is 10 and the price used so far will be nothing but I can say 10.9 CR, right? So this is the possible set of price after Akash, Rohit and Jitesh are together in a team, right? If Akash, Rohit and Patel are together in a team, so this was 120, right? And this is 110 now, so here the strike rate should be 10 less, so 466. Here the CI will be nothing but I can say 56 plus 42 is nothing but 98, right? And price will be 7.2 and 7 and 2 is I think you can say 9 and 9.9 and 2 10.1 crore. So the price used here so far is 10.1 CR, right? Similarly here I'm gonna write it for this case now. So strike rate, CI and price, strike rate, CI and price, right? So 366 and 120. So 366 and 120. So if 356 and 120 was 476, so 366 and 120 will become nothing but 486 here, right? 53 plus 36. Okay, so 15, 30 is 80 and 89 here, right? Price is 7.5 and 3.7. So 7 and 3 is 10 and 1.2 more, that makes it 11.2 CR, right? And 110 and 366, so this will be nothing but 476 here, right? The CI is gonna be 50 and 40 is 90, this value here 53 plus 42, so 50 and 40 makes it a 90 and plus 2 and 3 is nothing but 95 here, right? And the price is gonna be 7 and 2 is 11 and 11 and 7 and 2 is 9, right? 7 and 2 is 9 and then I have a 1.4 more, right? So that makes it a 10.4 CR. So these are the possible values of all the three combined, right? So let me just put it in a table here. So we have Rohit, Akash, Jitesh, one combination here that I've already put here, right? Rohit, Akash, Patel is another combination, right? So Rohit, Akash, Jitesh, right? Rohit, Akash and Jitesh, the first combination is 476, 92 and 10.9. Okay, so 476, 92 and we have a 10.9 CR, right? We have a 10.9 CR, right? Now Rohit, Akash and Patel. So Rohit, Akash and Patel, the combination is 466, 98, right? And I can say it's a 10.1 CR, right? So 10.1. So that is nothing but I can say the combination is strike rate, CI and then we have the price, right? So that is the order that I'm following. Vishal, Akash and Jitesh. Okay, so Vishal, Akash and Jitesh is 486, 89 and 11.2. Okay, so 486, 89 and 11.2 here, right? And here we have Patel, that is 476, 95, Vishal, Akash and Patel, and then we have a 10.4 CR, right? Now remember we had a range of total values that we were allowed to use, right? So for SR we had a maximum value should be so we had a total strike rate minimum should be 750, right? Total CI was minimum 150. Okay, so total SR was minimum 750, right? Total CI was minimum of I can say 150 and the price maximum was I can say 17 crore, right? So we have certain values left, right? So two people combined the minimum value, right? So left means out of total how much more do I need, bare minimum, right? So 750 minus 476 is what I need more. So 750 minus 476 is how much? I can say 480, right? And I would say 200, that makes it 700, 250, 270 and 274 more is required to make it a 750, right? So if this is 476, yeah, so if this is 476 here, so I need a 274 to make it a 750, right? This is already 92, so I need a, I can say a 58 to make it 150, and the maximum balance that I can use is nothing but I have a 10.9, so 11 and 6, so I have a availability of 6.1 CR of more money to make it a 17 crore, right? Now here this will be, if this has become 10 less, right? So this will become now 284. This was 274, so this will be 284 to make it 750. 98 means I need a 52 more, and this would mean I need a 6.9 crore more, right? Okay, now 486 again, so 486 will make it 264, right? I need a 264 to make it 750. For 150 I'll need I would say a 61, and 11.2 has already been used, so I can say 5.8 crore is what I have in hand, right, to make it 17 crores, isn't it? Now what about this one? 476 again, so 274, and I would say 55, and I would say the only possibility for the money is 10.4 we have already consumed, so to make it 17 I would say a 0.6, that makes it 11 and 6 more, so 6.6 crore I have in hand. So these are the three possible cases that we have had so far, right? Now which are the players that are left out which can be added in the team? Let's make a list of them, right? So I'm still left with Pollard, right? Then I'm left with Sachin, and I'm left with a couple here, right? Now either see, so here Akash and Jitesh, Akash Patel is common, right? Now if I consider the first two team, then I can use Vishal as well, maybe, right? And if I consider these two teams, I can make use of Rohit as well, because Rohit is not involved, right? So either of Rohit or Vishal can be used, right? So I can have Rohit or Vishal, either of them as well, right? So I'll probably just draw a line here, one extra line, just to, you know, create my space here, right? And Pollard, Sachin and Kapil can be used in any of the set of 4 teams, right, that we have made here. Okay, now let me just quickly list down their strike rate, their CI and stuff. So Pollard has a strike rate of 160, 24 and 4.2. okay, so 160, 24 and 4.2 is there for Pollard, right? Then Sachin has 125, 36 and 3.5, so 125, 36 and 3.5, right? Then we have 180, 22 and 3.1. okay, so 180, 22 and 3.1, right? And Rohit is, I can say 142, 31 and 2.4. okay, so 142, 31 and 2.4. and then we have Vishal 152, 28 and 2.7. okay, so 152, 28, 152 we have a 28 and we have a 2.7, right? So this is all that we have till here now, right? Now out of these set of 5 players that I have in front of me, I need to add 2 more, right? Obviously for the first 2 team I cannot make use of Rohit, so Rohit is not available in the first 2 teams, so I can say team 1 bar and team 2 bar, right? Because Rohit is already there. So let's say this is my team 1, this is my team 2, right? This is team 3 and this is team 4, for example. So Vishal is not available for team 3 and team 4, right? Now if Vishal is not available for team 3 and team 4, right? So now what are the possibilities here? So first thing is I need to make note of a strike rate, right? So 274, right? So 274 if we have here, so 274 if we need, so 160 plus 25, minimum I need is 274, right? So 160 plus 125 is possible, right? 160, or let me just have a look at the money here first, right? 6.1 CR, right? 4.2 and 3.5 is gonna exceed 6.1, right? 4.2 and 3.1 is also gonna exceed 6.1, right? Then 4.2 and 2.7, right? That is again gonna exceed 6.1. So Pollard cannot be with Sachin or with Kapil or with Vishal in team 1, right? So that is again ruled out, right? Now what about Sachin and Kapil together? If you look 3.1 and 3.5, right, Sachin and Kapil, it exceeds 6.1 crore that I have in hand, right? So I cannot make them together, right? If I took at 3.5 and 2.7, so that is again 3 and 2 is 5, 5.7 and 0.5 is 6.2, so that is again not possible. So Sachin also cannot be a part of team 1, right? Now Kapil and Vishal is the only player combination that is left. So 3.1 and 2.7, that is a 5.8. So that is definitely possible, maybe, right? I can. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna put the names here, right? I'm just gonna put the names here. So we have Rohit, Akash, right? And we have a Jitesh. Okay. So with Jitesh, is it we can have a Kapil and a Vishal here, that is 3.1 and 2.7. We also need a 58 for the CI, right? But is 22 and 28 58? No, right? 22 and 28, 20 and 20 is 40, 48 and 2, I would say it's only 50. So that this combination rules out because of the CI. So I can say I'm not getting any combination with Rohit, Akash and Jitesh. So that team is not possible. So I'll probably remove Jitesh from here, right? So these two players are sure. Player number 1, player number 2, right? Player number 3. Let's try with Patel now. Will I get any combination with Patel? Let's see. So Patel has a Rohit, Akash and Patel. So this combination is definitely ruled out. We do not have any possible set of teams with this combination, right? Now I need a 284. So let's first focus on which two players can give me 284, right? So the players that can give me a 284 is nothing but, I can say 5. So Pollard and Sachin can give me a 284, right? Now 52 is CI is what I need. 30 and 20 is 50, and 56 and 460. So this is definitely possible. And we only have 6.9 crores, and this is 4.2 and this is 7, right? And this is gonna cross my the budget, right? Let me just confirm. What's that? 3.5. Yes. Okay. So that is completely fine. That's not possible, right? So Pollard and Sachin is a not possible combination. What about Pollard and Kapil, right? So 160 plus 180 meets my 284 range, right? So 160 and 180 is possible. Then 24 and 22. So 20 and 20 is 40, 44 and 46. That again, rules out my case of Pollard and Kapil because CI is not meeting, right? Now let's see Pollard and Vishal. So 160 plus 152 is crossing my 284 this thing range, right? 24 plus 28 is exactly 52. That works out well for me, right? And 4 and 2.7, 4.2 and 2.7 is exactly again 6.9 crores, which exactly works out for me, right? So Pollard and Vishal can be the another two players for this combination of Rohit, Akash and Patel, right? So what I can do here is Rohit, Akash and Patel is possible. Along with that, we can have Pollard and Vishal. That can be my one of the set of values, right? Now let's see if any other combination is possible. Let's try with Sachin and Kapil. So 180 and 125 exceeds my 284, right? 36 plus 22 is definitely more than 52, and this is 6.6, so this is in my budget as well, right? So Sachin and Kapil is also a possible combination. So I would say we can also have Sachin and Kapil as my second set of combination, right? With Rohit, Akash and Patel. So we have got two set of combinations till now, right? Now again, let's look at so we took right now Sachin and Kapil, right? Now let's look at Sachin and Vishal. 125 plus 172, 120 plus 150 is 270 and 277. That does not cross my 284 range, right? So that is not possible, right? Now last possibility is Kapil and Vishal. Let's check that as well. Crosses 282. 28 plus 22 is only 50, does not cross 52. So this combination is also not possible, right? So there are only two set of possible combinations with the first universal combination of Rohit, Akash, Jitesh, Rohit, Akash and Patel, right? So with this, there is no possible team. With this, we are getting two different teams that I have already listed here, right? So I would say this is, let's say, team 2A, and I'll say this is team 2B, let's say, right? Because this is coming from team 2 itself, right? Now, if you want, you can find the total strike rate and stuff, right? So 466 we already have, right, till here. Okay, so maybe I can list down the total strike rate. I can add everything. So till here it was 466, right? And then it was 98, and then it was 10.1, right? Now Pollard and Vishal, how much is the strike rate? Let's add that. Pollard and Vishal, the strike rate is 160 plus 152, so that is gonna give me, I would say, 160 plus 152 is gonna give me a 160 plus 150 is 310, and that's 312 for me. So 312 added to the original 466, the total strike rate becomes 8, 7 and 7, so that is 778 for me, right? 778, right? What about CI? 98 was already there, right? 98 plus which are the two players that I'm considering, Pollard and Vishal. Okay, so 98 and 24 and 28, so 28 and 24 is 52, right? So 98 plus 52, that is exactly 150. So this is 150 here, and the money spent, so 10.1 plus 10 plus 10.1 plus 4.2, so 10.1 plus 4 is 14.3, and 14.3 and 7 is, I can say, 15, and 15 and 2 is exactly 17 crore has been spent, right? So this is 17 CR. Similarly, let's find out for this combination as well, right? Let's find out for this particular combination as well here for Sachin, Kapil and the other three, right? Now we already had for this, guys, we already had this 466, 98 and 10.1 till here, right? Now Sachin and Kapil, so Sachin and Kapil combined 125 plus 180, right? So 125 plus 180 is, I would say, 305, right? And 305 plus 466 is gonna give me, I would say, 11.1, and that is 7 and 771. So the strike rate here is gonna be, I would say, 771, the combined strike rate of all the 5 players, right? What is gonna be the CI? So we already had a 98, right? We already had a 98, and we are looking at Sachin and Kapil. So 98 and I would say 2 is 100, 130, 150, and that makes it 156, right? So the total is 156, okay? Because we already had a 98, guys, right? And 98 plus 22 is a 120, 120 plus 30 is 150, and plus 6 is 156. We already had spent 10.1 crores, and we are spending another 10 and 6 is 16 crores, right? And 16.5 and 16.6 and 16.7 CR, I believe, right? Let me re-add 10, 313, 316, 16.5, 16.6, yes, 16.7 crores is what been spent on the team 2. Now let us look at the next combination of Vishal, Akash and Jitesh, right? Now if Vishal, Akash and Jitesh is being used, then I cannot use definitely Vishal again for team 3 and team 4, right? So the highest was 61. Let's focus on 61 first here, right? Any combination of these 4 that can give me a 61, right? So 36 plus 4 is 40 plus 20 is 60. I need a 61. So the only possible combination is Sachin and Rohit, right? For this team 2, right? Team 3, sorry. The only possible combination is Sachin and Rohit, that can give me a 61 here, right? Now if this gives me a 61, so 150, 140 plus 120 is 260 and 267. So that meets my 264 criteria as well. What about 3.5 and 2.4, right? 3.5 and 2.4 is 5.9 crore, but the left is 5.8 crore, right, for this team to make further additions to the players, right? So 5.8 is the balance left, but for these two I need a 5.9 crore. So none of the cases are possible for this, right? So again I would say Jitesh is never possible to be a part of any of the teams. Why? Because both the combination of Jitesh has been ruled out, right? Now let's talk about Vishal, Akash and Patel. Okay, so Vishal, Akash and Patel. So the very first thing, the highest thing that I can see here is a 55, right? So I can see a 55 in terms of CI. Okay, let me just write this a bit neatly. So 55 is what I need, right? Now 55, what all I can have, right? Let's see. So for 55, 36 plus 22 can be 55, right? 36 plus 22 can be 55. Okay, 3.5 and 3.1 is 6.6. that also meets my criteria. It is greater than 55 in fact. And 180 and 300 and 305, right? So this is definitely possible. Okay, so Sachin and Kapil can be the part of this team. So I would say Sachin and Kapil again are possible, right? and then we have here we have Vishal, Akash and Patel, right? So the team is Vishal, Akash and Patel, right? And till now we have used how much strike rate and what all? Let's see. We have used 476, 95 and 10.4, right? And 10.4. So Sachin and Kapil now, if they are added to the team, so we'll have some addition to the total values now. So let's write down the final set of values here. So 476 strike rate, Sachin and Kapil combined is 305, and 466 plus 305 was 771, right? So 476 plus 305 will be 781. So this value has to be 781, right? So this value here is 781. Now what about the CI? So 95 was already there, right? And we have another 95 was already there. Then we have let's say 100, 130, 152 and 153, right? So we'll make it 153 here by adding the CI, right? And what is the money spent? Let's look at the money spent. 10.4 is already spent and another 6.6, that makes it exactly 17 crores. So the money spent is 17 crores. So we have had one combination of Vishal, Akash, Patel and then Sachin and Kapil, right? Now let's see if there is any other possible combination for the three of them, right? So Vishal, Akash, Patel, right? Now we have tried Sachin and Kapil. Pollard was not possible, right? Let me see if I can have any other combination. Okay, so Rohit and Kapil, if you look at Rohit and Kapil, right, 180 plus 142 is more than 274. 22 plus 31 is not 55, so that is not possible. Okay, what about Pollard and Rohit? 160 plus 142 is more than 274. 24 plus 31 is definitely 55, and 2.4 and 4.2 is definitely 6.6 crores. So all the criteria are fitting in here. So Pollard and Rohit can be the another possible set of players for this particular team, right? So Pollard and Rohit is also possible here, right? Now if Pollard and Rohit both are possible, right, so let me again quickly add up their strike rates, the CI and the money spent, right? Okay, so till here we had these set of values which are 476, 95 and 10.4 CR, right? These are the values that we already had. Now for Pollard and Rohit combined, if I add them, right, so let's see how much do we get now. So I'll just go back here. Okay, so we already had a 476, right? And Pollard and Rohit combined is nothing but, I can say 160 plus 142, that is a 302. When 305 was added, we got a 781, right? We got a 781. So now because 302 is being added, so I'll get 3 less, so I should get a 778 here, right? So the value here will be 778, right? What about CI? Now CI, the CI value here 55, 95 was already there and we are getting exactly 55, so that makes it exact 150 again, right? So that is 150, the total CI for the 5 of them. And the money, so 10.4, and again we are spending a 6.6, so that makes it exactly 17 crore, right? So we have got another set of 2 sub cases for the team 3, so I can have a team 3A and a team 3B. So we have exactly 4 possible combinations for the 5 set of players. So this can be my player 4 and this can be my player 5. So I think this is the final table that we have. So I've put this data in the table on the next slide. I hope we have got the correct data. 771, 778, right? 781 and 778, right? Perfect. 156 to 150 and 153. Yes, I have put the correct data, I think. Yes. And 317, yes. So I think we are now good to go with the questions because the table is already done now, right? Let's look at the questions now. Now the very first question: if Rocky can select the combination of 5 batsmen in n ways, then what is the value of n? So we have already seen how many possible combinations are there. There are exactly 4 different possible combinations, right? So the answer for this question should be definitely 4, right? How many players out of 8 choices are selected in each possible combination? Okay, so how many players out of 8 choices have been selected in each possible combination, right? Now if you look at Akash, he's there in each possible combination, right? And for that matter, Rohit is not there in each possible combination, he's missing in this one, right? Vishal is also not there, Kapil is also not there, right? So there's exactly 1 player which is there in each possible combination, that is, I can say, Akash, right? Akash definitely has to be selected, isn't it? I cannot see any other player that is present in each possible combination. Now, third one. How many players were not chosen in any of the possible combinations? So, how many players have not been chosen in any of the possible combinations? So, let's see. Did we, so we have selected Pollard for sure. Sachin was also selected. Kapil was also selected, right? Rohit is also selected. Akash is also selected. Vishal is also selected. And Patel is also selected. So, I have selected all the players except for Jitesh, right? So, Jitesh has not been selected. So, the answer for this third question should be nothing but, again, I would say 1, right? Now, what is the minimum possible as spent out of all the possible combinations? So, minimum that we spent was 16.7 crores, right? So, the answer is definitely 16.7 CR, right? The final question, which of the following statement is definitely true, right? Now, let's see. Combination with the highest average CI had the highest expense. Now, if the average CI is highest, then the total CI should also be highest. So, let's go for the total CI as well itself, right? Why? Because if the highest average, right, if the average CI is the highest, then the expense will also be highest, isn't it? So, I mean, if the average CI is highest, right, then the total CI will also be highest, right? Because if you're dividing by 5 or you're considering total value, it doesn't make a difference. So I want to know if the highest CI, okay, let's just get rid of this average. Why to confuse ourselves, right? Let's just work on the highest value itself, okay? Let me just get rid of this average for now, okay? So highest CI had the highest expense. Let's see, did the highest CI had the highest expense? Highest CI was 156. No, it did not have the highest expense. So option 1 cannot be a true statement. So it is a false one, right? Second one, combination with the highest CI had the lowest strike rate. Okay, let's see. Highest CI had the lowest strike rate. So highest CI strike rate is 771. Yes, that is definitely the lowest strike rate. Okay, so I would say option 2 is a true statement, right? Option 2 is a true statement. Okay, now combination with the highest SR had the lowest average CI. Okay, so combination with the highest SR had the lowest average CI. Okay, combination with the highest SR had the lowest average CI. No, that is not a true statement. So that is a false statement again here, right? Okay, combination with the lowest expense had the highest average CI. Combination with the lowest expense had the highest average CI. Okay, so combination with the lowest expense had the highest average CI. Yes, that is a true statement. Lowest expense is 16.7 and the CI is highest, that is 156. Okay, so I can say 2 of the statements are true and 2 of them are false. So which of the following statements is definitely true? I can say 2nd and 4th are definitely true. I think there's some typo in this set here, in the options here. There's a typing mistake. The options are maybe something else here, right? But then that should be my correct answer. 2 and 4 should be the correct answer, right? So with this we come to the end of this set. Alright, let's move ahead to our next set here. Let us have a look at this particular set now. It says in a food festival competition, 4 dishes, pizza, burger, sushi and pasta were rated by attendees. Each attendee would vote for their first, second, third and fourth preferences among these dishes. Alright, so everybody is gonna rate for their first, second, third and fourth preference in terms of their the choice of dishes, right? So there are 4 choices, out of which for each attendee the first, second, third and fourth preference could be different, right? Now the points for the first, second, third and fourth preferences are 1, 2, 4 and 5 respectively. Okay, so there are point distribution that if you give first preference to some dish, that points is going to be 1, then for second it is 2, for third it is 4th and for the fourth one it is 5, right? Now at the end of the competition the points are totaled and the dish with the minimum number of points is declared the winner. Alright, so there are 4 dishes basically. I'll say there's a pizza, there's a burger, there's a sushi and there's a pasta, right? Now people can have first preference, second preference, third preference and fourth preference, right? Now if there are X attendees, right, if there are X people who attended the food festival, so I can say X people are gonna give first preference to the some of the dishes, right? So all the X people will give their first preferences. Now for some of them it could be pizza, for some of them it could be burger, for some of them it could be sushi, some of them it could be pasta. Similarly X people will give it for second, X people for third and X people for fourth, right? Now further it says When the points are finally tallied, it was found that the pizza, burger, sushi and pasta had received total of 105, 110, 85 and 120 respectively. Alright, so pizza was 105, burger was 110, this was 85 and this was 120 respectively, right? Now if I add all these points, okay, this is dish wise the total points, not the number of people. So if I add everything, this will come out to be how much, right? Let's add 100 and 100 is 200, 300, 385, 15 is 400, 385, 400 and then I'll get 420, right? So 420 is the total number of points. And now again, so if this total is 400, right? So if I calculate the total here, right, if I multiply this x people with the points, I should get 420, right? So can I say for first preference the points are nothing but I would say it's 1, right? For the first preference the points are 1, so I'll say x. Then for the second preference again there are x people but the points are 2, so I'll get 2 into x points, right? Plus for the third preference the points are 4 and then again there are x people, so I'll say 4 into x. And then there are 5 points for the fourth preference, again x people. So this total should definitely be equal to 420. So this gives me 12x is equal to 120. So from here I can definitely say that there are 35 people, right? 12 4s is 36, right? 420, right? So 12 3s is 36, yes, and 60, 12 5s is 60, perfect. 35 is alright. So there are exactly 35 people who attended the food festival, right? Now let's see it further. The following was also known from the analysis of the votes polled. Okay, 60% of the attendees rated pizza as their third preference. Okay, so let me just write it here. Okay, so there are 60. Now if I talk about pizza, so there are exactly 60% of them who rated pizza as their third preference. Alright, so I would say third preference in terms of pizza is nothing but 60% and the number of people are nothing but 35. So if I calculate 60% of 35, it's basically I would say 23s and 5s and 5 7s is 35. So there are exactly 21 people who rated pizza as their third preference. So I'll probably put this in a table here, right? So I'll say so 105, 110, 85 and then we have I didn't write the data here, so we have 120 here, 120 people who points for pasta, right? So these are the total points. Now pizza, there are exactly 21 people. Okay, so this is 21 given to me, 21 people, right? This is something that I figured out, right? Now let's say first preference for pizza was A people, right? Second preference is B people and third preference is C people. So if the number of people who have given preferences to pizza are 35, so can I say from here that A plus B, right, plus 21 plus C should be equal to 35, right? This is the number of people, this total should be definitely 35. So from here I can say that A plus B plus C should be equal to nothing but 14, right? Now another thing here is the total points are given to me as 105, right? So if the total points are 105, so I can say here A plus, for the second preference I'm gonna get 2 points, so 2B plus, for the third preference there are 4 points, so 21 into 4 plus, and for the third preference, fourth preference I'm gonna get 5 points, right? Because here the points are multiplied by 5, this is by 4, this is by 2 and this is by 1, right? So 5C should be equal to nothing but I would say 105, right? So from here I can say I'll get an equation that is A plus 2B plus 5C should be equal to nothing but 105 minus 64, right? 4 ones are 4 and 4 twos are 8, not 64, 84, my bad. So this is equal to 84, right? So from here I'll get nothing but A plus 2B plus 5C equals I would say 29, right? For 5 minus, not 29, 5 minus 4 is 1 and 10 minus 8 is 2, so 21, right? Now A plus B plus C is 14 and A plus 2B plus 5C is 21, right? I'll take let's say this is 1 and this is my second equation, right? If I subtract equation 1 from equation 2, right? If I subtract equation 1 from equation 2, so A and A will get eliminated, right? I'll get 2B minus B, that is gonna give me a B here, right? Plus 5C minus C is gonna give me a 4C, and this value is equal to nothing but I can say 7, right? 21 minus 14 is 7 now. So we have an equation here that B plus 4c is equal to 7, right? Now if b plus 4c is equal to 7, right, so if I take the minimum possible value of b as 1, right, so this is nothing but I would say c should be equal to, I would say that is not possible, right? B is 1 is not possible, right? If I take b as 2, still I cannot find a value, right? If I take b as 3, then this is possible that c can be 1, right? So if b is 3 and c is 1, then I'll definitely get a combination of 7, right? I don't think there can be any other combination, because then the values are not possible, right? So only possible value that I can see here is when b is 3, c can be 1, right? So if b is 3, right, if b is 3 and c is 1, so I have 21 plus 3 is 24 plus 1 25, so still 10 more people, so this has to be nothing but 10, right? So we have found the values for the column of pizza, that these will be the particular set of values, which is 10, 3, 21 and 1. So pizza is definitely sorted now, right? Now I should move ahead to the next one, that is my another dishes, right? The remaining 3 dishes which I am yet to figure out the points for, right? Now the number of people, right? Now if you read the next line, which is 40% of the attendees rated sushi as their first preference respectively, okay, and no dish received 40% or more votes for any of the preferences other than the cases above, okay. So no dish has received 40% or more votes, okay. So if there are 35 people, right, if there are 35 people and if I find 40% of 35, right, so this is basically, I can say 2 by 5 of 35, which is exactly 14 people. So no dish can receive, no dish can have 14 people voting as their preferences, right? So none of these values can be 14, right? None of these values can be 14 or more than that. So the maximum possible value that I can plug in any of these cells is nothing but 13, right? So 13 is the maximum possible value, except for the cases mentioned. Now we have already dealt with one case for pizza. Now I'm yet to deal with sushi, right? Now sushi, 40% of the attendees rated sushi as their first preference, okay. So 40%, that is 14 people, rated sushi as their first preference, right? Now if this is x people, this is y people, this is z people, right? Let's say this is x, y and z. So I would say that if there are 35 people who are giving a rating to sushi, so 14 are already here. So in that case I would say for sushi here, now let's work out for sushi. So I can say that x plus y plus z, right, this value should be equal to 35 minus 14, that is equal to 21 for sure, right? Now if this is 21, right, and the number of points, right, so 1 multiplied by 1, so 14 plus 2x plus 4y, right, and plus 5z, this value should be equal to definitely, but I can say 85, right? So this is one of the equation that I have here, right? So from here I can say 2x plus 4y plus 5z is equal to 85 minus 14, that is nothing but I will say 5 minus 4 is 1 and 8 minus 1 is, I can say 71, right? So I have these two equations now. What if I take a difference of 1 and 2 again, right? So let's say this is my 1 and this is my 2 in this case. So equation 2 minus 1, right? So if I take a difference, 2x minus x is nothing but I would say x, right? 4y minus y is 3y and 5y minus 5z minus z is, I can say 4z, right? And that is equal to 71 minus 21 is nothing but 50. If this value is 50, is it gonna give me anything good here? No, I don't think so. Rather what I should do is I should eliminate one variable, right? So if I try to eliminate one variable here, so what I can do here is I can multiply this equation by 2, right? So if I multiply this equation by 2, I'm gonna get 2x plus 2y plus 2z is equal to 42. And then if I take a difference now of let's say, now this is, let's say, equation 3 for me, okay. So I'll say rather equation 2 minus 1, I'll put it here as equation 2 minus 3, let's say, right? So if I put this as my third equation, and now if I take a difference, so 2x minus 2x is cancelled, 4y minus 2y is nothing but I would say 2y, right? And 5z minus 2z is nothing but 3z, okay. And this value is equal to nothing but I can say 71 minus 42. So 11 minus 2 is 9, right? And 6 minus 4 is 29. Now if we look at this equation here, this sum is 29, right? Now if I take y as 1 here, right, if I start with the value 1, then the value of z is gonna be nothing but I can say 9 here, right? Because 2 ones are 2, 29 minus 2 is gonna give me a 27, and then this will come out to be 9. Now you should know that in a one equation two variables, y changes at a step of coefficient of z here, right, and z changes at a step of coefficient of y here. So whichever is the coefficient of the other number, it's gonna change at that step, right? So if I increase y by 3, because y is going to change at a step of coefficient of z here, so if I make this 4, right, so because I'm increasing one number by 3 and there's a plus sign in between and the other side is constant 29, so I need to decrease the other, right? And by how much should I decrease? The coefficient of y here, right? Z will change at a coefficient of y. So this is something that we have done in algebra. So minus 2 will give me a 7 here, right? Now, but the problem is I can have more cases here further. I can again increase this by 3 and make it 7, and this I can decrease by 2 and make it 5, right? But the point is that till where are we gonna go with these cases, right? This is gonna again become minus 2, so 5 3s are 15 and 14, that is gonna give me a 29, right? But understand here, right, so we know that across the 4 dishes, right, the number of people are gonna be definitely 35, right? Now if C is 1, right, so if C is 1, so I need the sum of these 3 places to be nothing but 34 people, right? I want 34 people here, okay? And we know that maximum value that I can put anywhere is 13. It cannot exceed 13. So even if I'm putting 2 places 13 and 13, right, even if I'm substituting 13 and 13 at 2 places, Z has to be minimum 8, right? 13 plus 13 is 26, plus 1 is 27. Yes, so Z has to be a minimum of 8. It cannot be less than 8. So can I take the value of Z where it is 7, 5 and so on and so forth? No. So these cases are definitely ruled out. So Z has to be either 9 or 8, and 8 will not satisfy this equation. So the only possible value for Z is nothing but I would say 9 here, right? And if Z is 9, so if Z is 9, that means the other 2 should add up to 25, right? Now if the other 2 should add up to 25, so I will say I'll get rid of this, and the only possibilities are this is 12, this is 13, right, or this is 13 and this is 12. So these are the only 2 possibilities, right? So that is for sure that this is the possible combination. Now if Z is 9, then the value of Y is 1, right? So Y I'm gonna put here as 1. Okay, 9 plus 1 is 10, 10 plus 14 is 24. To make it 35, I need a 11 here, right? So this is my 11. Now again, I need to figure out burger 3 values and pasta 3 values, right? So let's work with the first case here. So I'll probably take the first case when I'm taking the burger first, second, third and fourth preference, right? So I'm taking the 4th preference as 12 here for burger, and let's say this is my A, this is B, this is C. Okay, so I'll probably make 2 tables here. So let me just plug in the values here, whatever we have found already. So we have got 10, 3, 21 and 1. So I'm gonna just put in the values here. So we have got 10, 3, 21 and 1, and here I've already got 14, 11, 1 and 9. Okay, so 14, 11, 1 and 9, right? Now I'm making a case when burger is 12 and pasta is 13, right? I'll have a case when burger is 13 and pasta is 12, right? Now this is 1, this is a 9, this is a 14, 11 here, a 1 here, and this is 10, 3, 21 and 1. Okay, now let's try to work this out. So we know that A plus B plus C for burger here should be nothing but, I'll say, because the entire sum has to be 35, so this has to be 23, right? And I can say another equation is A plus, if I'm taking a A here, right, A, B and C, so the point distribution is 1 into A, 2 into B and 4 into C. Okay, so 1 into A, 2 into B and 4 into C, plus the last points are, I can say there are, if I'm taking 12 people, so 12 5s is 60, right? So 60 is equal to nothing but the total points, that is 110, right? So if this is 110, so from here I can say that A plus 2B plus 4C is equal to 50, right? Now if I take a difference of these 2 equations, so I'll definitely get rid of A, so I'll get 2B minus B, that is gonna give me a B, plus 3C is equal to nothing but 50 minus 23, that is gonna give me a 27, right? Now this number is a multiple of 27, right? This number is a multiple of 3 here, 27. So this number is already a multiple of 3. So basically my B has to be a multiple of 3, right? Now let's check which is the minimum possible value of B that I can take. Okay, now if you look at B here, So my B, this value 11 plus 3 is 14. So even if I put a 13 here, right, even if I put a 13 here, so that makes it 27. So the minimum value of B that I can take is 8. It cannot be less than 8. Why? Because I want the total to be 35, right? So 13 plus 11 is 24, plus 3 is 27. So minimum B is 8. So a number which is greater than 8 and a multiple of 3. So I can take probably 9, right? Now if B is 9, then I can say 3C. So 27 minus 27 minus 9 is 18, and 18 by 3 should give me a 6. So one of the combinations is 9 and 6, right? Now the next possible combination is 12 and I'll say 12, and this will go down by 1, that is 5, right? So 12 plus 15 is also 27. But I cannot take 12 and 5. Why? Because I'm already assuming the 4 preference to be 12, and it was clearly mentioned here, if you would have gone through the set, that for each dish, this one, no 2 or more preferences receive the same number of responses for any particular dish. So any particular dish, no 2 preferences can have same number of responses. So 12 and this case is definitely ruled out. 2 12s are not possible. So the only possible value of B and C is nothing but 9 and 6, right? So if this is 9, this is 6, so I would say 15. So 23 minus 15 is nothing but, I would say this should be a 8 here, right? Okay, 9 plus 6 is 15 and 20, yes. So 8, 9 and 6. So 8, 9 and 6 are the possible values here, right? And if this is 8, 9 and 6, so the remaining values are, I can say 10 plus 8 is 18, 18 plus 14 is 32, so this should be a 3 here. 3 and 9 is 12, 20 and 23, so there should be a 12 here in that case, I would say, yeah, right? 11, 9, 20, 23, and to make it 35 I need 12 more rays, okay? And 21 plus 6 is 27, 27 plus 1 is 28, 28 plus 7 is 35, 13 plus 7 is 20, 20 plus 12, yes, perfect. So this is my complete table. This is one possible scenario, right? Now what if burger is 13 and pasta is 12, right? So let's try to work this out now. So again, I'm gonna take the same set of variables, right? And I'll say in this case now I'm gonna take burger as 13, okay? So I'll have my same set of preferences. I'll have a first preference, I'll have a second, I'll have a third, I'll have a fourth. Again, I'll say, let's say these are ABC values again, right? And my fourth preference this time is 13, okay? So this time it is 13. So in that case now A plus B plus C will be equal to nothing but 22, right? And I'll say A plus 2 into B for the points, plus 4 into C for the points, plus 5 into 13 should be equal to nothing but 110. That is the total number of points for the burger, right? So now in this case A plus 2B plus 4C will be equal to 110 minus 65 is nothing but, I can say 45, right? Now if I take a difference of these two, I'll get nothing but B plus 3C is equal to 23, right? Now B plus 3C is equal to 23, alright? So B plus 3C is equal to 23. That is my number of points here, right? Now if you look at B plus 3C is equal to 23, right? So I want a value of B such that when I subtract it from 23, I should get a number which is a multiple of 3, right? And we know for a fact that the minimum value of B, right, this minimum value here can be 8, right? We have seen this, that this is the minimum value. It cannot be lesser than this no matter what, right? So if it cannot be lesser than this, okay, so if it cannot be lesser than this, so let's try out a value which is 8 or greater than 8, right? Now if I take a 8 here, right, I'm so sorry, if I take a 8 here, so in that case 23 minus 8 is 15. I'll probably take a different color, right? So 23 minus 8 is 15, and 15 is definitely divisible by 3, so that gives me a 5, right? If I take a 9 here, right, so will 9 work out? No, 23 minus 9 is not gonna work out. So I just told you one thing here, that is, if you have one equation and two variables, so B will change at a step of coefficient of C, right, and C is gonna change at a step of coefficient of B. So if I'm increasing one, I'm gonna decrease the other. Obviously I cannot decrease B. Why? Because this is the minimum possible value of B. So if this is the minimum possible value of B, so if I increase it by plus 3, right, so this will become 11, so I have to decrease this by minus 1, right? So this will become 4, and I think this will also satisfy. The next possible value will not be possible. Why? Because for any other combination I cannot exceed the value of 13. Not more than 13 people can have a preference, right? So there are two possible values for B, that is 8, 11, right? So I'll probably have to make two cases here now. So I'll say, let's say here B is either 8 or it is 11, right? Now when B is 8 or 11, then C can be 5 or 4. Okay, so C can be 5 or 4, right? Now if I go this way, right, so 13 plus 5 is 18, right? 18 plus 8 is, I would say 26. So if I need a 35, so I would need a 26 and then 4, 30 and 9 more. So this has to be 9 in that case, right? And if I go by this case, so 13 plus 4 is 17, 17 plus 11 is 28, so I need a 7 more, right? Now if I take the first preferences, that is 9, 8, 5 case, probably I'll write it with a different color. Okay, 7, 11, 14, I'll probably use a different color here just to, you know, avoid any confusion. So let's use a green color here, 7, 11 and 14, right? And I'll probably use a different color for the separation as well. Okay, so maybe I'll use a red color, so 9, 8, 11 and okay. Now if I'm working on the blue case, right, if I'm working on the blue case, so 10 plus 9 is 19 and 19 plus 14 is 33, right? So I needed 2 more, so this has to be 2. 3 plus 8 is 11, 11 plus 11 is 22, so if it is 22 I needed 13 more, right? 21 plus 5 is 26, 26 plus 1 is 27, so I need a 8 more to make it 35, right? That makes sense. Okay, now the other case for the green one, what are the possibilities, right? Let's work out the green possibilities now. So 10 plus 7 is 17, 17 plus 14 is 31, so I need a 4 more here. 3 plus 11 is 14, 14 plus 11 is 25, so I need a 10 more here, right? And 21 plus 14 is was I getting a 14 here or was it a 4 here? 13 plus 11 is 24, 24 plus 7 is 31. This was a 4 here, not 14, my bad. So this was 4, right? Okay, so 21 plus 4 is 25 plus 1 is 26, so I need a 9 more to make it 35. Now let's quickly verify whether this is correct or not. 4 plus 10 is 14, 14 plus 12 is 26, 26 plus 9 is 35, absolutely correct. 13 to 5, 15, 15 and 8 is 23 and 12 is 35 days. So these are the possible set of values that I have. So in totality I'm basically getting 3 cases. I've combined 2 cases in the second table and 1 case is there in the first table, right? So I think I'm good to go with the questions now. Let's move with the questions. How many combinations are possible? So there are exactly 3 combinations are possible, so that should be my answer for the first one. Second, what is the number of attendees who rated sushi as their 4th preference? Okay, now sushi as their 4th preference, there are exactly 9 people in both the cases, so this is a unique answer, so that should be my answer here, right? The third one, what is the sum of all possible distinct values of the number of attendees who rated burger as their second preference? Okay, so distinct values of attendees who rated burger as their second preference. Okay, so burger can be either 9 or it can be 8 or it can be 11, right? So the possible sum is, I would say 11 plus 9 plus 8, that is definitely 28, right? So this is my answer for this one. Let's move to the next question. If the number of attendees rated burger as the 4th preference is greater than the number of attendees who rated pasta as the 4th preference, okay, so that means I'm gonna take burger as 13 and pasta as 12, right? Then find the number of attendees who rated pasta as their 3rd preference. Okay, now if you look at this question here, so burger is greater than pasta, that is the second case, right? And I want to find the number of attendees who rated pasta as their 3rd preference. Now 3rd preference of pasta can be either 8 or 9, right? So it can be either 8 or 9. Now if you look at the options, there are both 8 and 9, isn't it? And there's an option cannot be determined. So if there was an option that which said both B and C, then I would have marked both B and C, but I cannot determine this, right? It could be either 8 or it could be either 9, depending upon what value am I taking, right? So answer should be definitely cannot be determined. Both the values 8 and 9 are possible, right? If I had only one particular case, either the green or the blue one, then I would have determined, right? So it doesn't matter whether burger is greater than pasta or not for the 4th preference. It is not gonna create any difference for me, right? It's still gonna give me these 2 cases, right? But suppose if they had given that burger is greater than pasta in the 1st preference, so I would have gone with the blue case, right? In that case I could have said that pasta is the 3rd preference, 8 people have given pasta, right? But here I cannot figure out my answer, so the answer is definitely CBD, right? Last question. If the number of attendees who rated burger as the 4th preference is lesser than the number of attendees who rated pasta as the 4th preference, who rated burger as their 1st preference. Okay, now if burger is lesser than the people who rated pasta as their fourth preference. So I'm going with the first table now. So the number of people who rated burger as their first preference is definitely 8. So I think that should be my required answer, right? So the answer for this question is 8, right? So with this, I think we are done with this set. Now let's move ahead to the next one. Let us have a look at this set now. It says during World War II, German airplane fighters were using code words to communicate between each other. There were 100 airplane fighters, A1 to A100. Okay, so there are 100 airplane fighters from A1 to A100, right? Who went for a drill at night, each in one fighter jet. So everybody is going in one of the fighter jets, right? So one person, one jet, right? So per jet, per fighter, that means there are 100 jets as well. Alright, now every fighter had 100 switches in their fighter jet, S1 to S100. So every fighter has a total of S1 to S100 switches in each of its jet, right? Once such switch is kept on or off by any fighter, that switch will be in the same position in all other fighters. Okay, so if let's say A5 fighter keeps S7 on, right, then S7 will be on for all the planes, right? If a position of a switch has been changed by one of the fighter, then it's going to change for all the fighters, right? For all the jets basically, right? So if fighter 1 keeps SN in off position, then SN will be in the off position in all the planes until anyone changes the switch in the on position. Okay, now A2 changes the position of those switches, puts in on mode, it is presently in off mode, and vice versa, whose subscripts are divisible by 2. Alright, so for example A2, the fighter A2 is going to change the position of those switches which have subscript 2. For example S2, S4, S6, which are divisible by 2, S8, and so on and so forth, right? A3 is going to change the switch positions of S3, S6, S9, S12, and so on and so forth, right? Now so what is something that I understand from here is that, you know, if suppose is a number 4, right? So 4 has factors as 1, 2, and 4. So the switch number 4 position will be changed by 3 fighters, right? Now if there's a number, let's say 8, so it has factors as 1, 2, 4, and 8. So its position will be changed by 4 fighters. If there's a number 10, so its position will be changed by 1, 2, 5, and 10. Again 4 fighters, right? But suppose if there's a number 16, so 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16, right? So these are the fighters who will be changing the position of switch number 16. Now if you observe here, when we had 4, right, there are exactly 3 fighters who are changing the position. When the number is 16, there are exactly 5 fighters who are changing the position of the switches, right? So can I say these are number of odd numbers, right? Number of fighters changing the positions is nothing but odd number. And if initially switch number 4 and 16 are off, right? If initially switch number 4 and 16 are in off position, then they will be now in on position. Why? Because odd number of times the switch has been tweaked, right? So if there are odd number of times the switch has been changed, then it is going to change its initial position. If it was off, it will turn into on, right? But what about 8 and 10? If you see here, there are even number of factors, right? So in that case, if it was initially off, then it is going to remain as off. So what do we understand from here? That all the perfect squares, right? All the perfect squares from 1 to 100, because perfect squares have odd number of factors, right? All the perfect squares have always odd number of factors, so their position will change. That is, if initially they were off, they will be on. If they were on, then they will be in the off position. That is something which I understand from this particular information here, right? Now every switch in the on position represents an alphanumeric code as shown below. Okay, now every switch in the on position represents an alphanumeric code. For example, S1 is represented by A1, S2 is represented by B1, S3 by C1, and we'll go up to 26 because there are 26 alphabet, that is Z1, and then we change the subscript. So we start from A2, then A3, then A2, then B2, and then so on and so forth up to Z2, and then I start from A3 and so on and so forth, right? So that is how it is going to work, the codes for each of the switches. These codes are visible in the control room. Okay, now understand what does it say. Every switch in the on position, if it's in the on position, then it is represented by this alphanumeric code, and these codes are visible in the control room. So in the control room, the codes that are visible are only of those switches which are on, right? They shouldn't be off, right? Now if a fighter jet is down by the enemy side, then only the fighter in that plane cannot change the code. Okay, so the fighter jet is down by the enemy side. If the fighter has been shot down, then that fighter cannot change the code in that particular plane, right? Okay, so this is all the information that we have. I think I'm good to go with the questions now. Let's start with the first one. The first question says, if all the fighter plane remain intact, that means none of them have been shot down, okay, then what will be the message control room will receive from the switches pressed by the fighters? Now this is more of an option wise question, right? So if you look at option 1, okay, A1 is nothing but the, I would say, the first switch. This is the code for the first switch. If control room is receiving A1, that means it is in the on position, right? And if it is in the on position, yes, it can be in the on position. Why? Because 1 is a perfect square, right? Now B1 means it is talking about switch number 2. Switch number 2 is not a perfect square, right? It is not a perfect square, so it can never be in the on position because all the fighter places are intact. So there are no changes as such, isn't it? None of them have been shot. So only the perfect square should be in the on position, but B1 is not a perfect square. So can I say this code cannot be received by the control room? So on that basis, option A and B can never be the answer, right? Now let's talk about options C and D, okay? If I talk about D, I can see a W1 here, right? Now what is W1? So we know that Z is 26, right? Y is 25, X is 24. So can I say W should be nothing but 23? And 23 is no way a perfect square. Switch number 23 means subscript is 23, right? So I can say that switch number 23 or 23 is not a perfect square, so it can never be in the on position. So this W1 code is also not acceptable by the control room, right? It shouldn't be visible in the control room, but as per this option it is visible, which is not possible. So option D is also ruled out. So the correct answer has to be option number C. And if you will check, all these will be nothing but perfect squares, all these numbers. If you want, you can definitely check any random. For example, if I go for J2, so J2, right? If I look at J2 now, so 2 means I have used all the 26 letters, right? So after 26 I have A, B, C, then I have D, E, F, G, H, I and J. So 10 more, right? So 26 and 10 more. So J2 is basically, the number is 36, and you can see 36 is a perfect square. So the correct answer is definitely option C. All of them will be nothing but perfect squares, right? Let's move to the second question here. The normal code signal is denoted as N, which is a set of all the alphanumeric codes when none of the planes are shot by the enemy. Okay, so the normal code signal is denoted as N which is a set of alphanumeric codes when none of the planes are shot by the enemy, right? Now find out the minimum number subscript of jets which was shot if the control room received a code as N plus something else. Okay, so control room received N plus S1, E3 and Q4, right? If multiple jets are shot, then write the sum of the subscript of the jets which are shot in the answer. Okay, which are shot in the answer. Fine, let's see. So S1 is my first one, right? Obviously this code will be received, right? S1 is the first switch number, isn't it? Switch number 1 is S1. Okay, now that means fighter A1 is gone, right? A1 fighter is gone, isn't it? Switch number 1. Okay, switch number 1 means 1 has to be. Okay, what about E3? So E3 means I have used 26 into 2 for 52 alphabets, right? And then I have A, B, C, D and E, so 5 more to reach to E3, so that makes it 57. Now 57 is also on, right? Ideally 57 should be in the off state. Why? Because it is not a perfect square, but because control room is receiving, that means it is in the on state, right? Okay, what about Q4? Q4 will be how much? So I have 26 into 3, that is, I can say 3 6 are 18 and 1 carry, 3 2 are 6 and 1 78, right? And Q is, I can say, I think the 17th one, right? 17th letter in the alphabet series, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, and yes, Q is the 17th one. So 78 plus 17 is 95. So 95 is also not a perfect square. So ideally should have been the off state, but because control room is receiving, that means these are in the on state, right? Now if 57 is in the on state, right? So what are the factors of 57? What are the factors of 57? So 57 factors are, I can say 1, right? Then we have 3, it is resolved by 3 as well. Then we have 19 and then we have 57. So one of these fighters has been shot down for sure. Then only the state of the 57 can change to on. Otherwise it is not possible, right? Okay. Now what about if Q4, right? So Q4 is 95. Okay. 95, the factors are 1 and then we have a 5, right? 95 is resolved by 5 as well, which is I can say 19, and we have 95. So again one of these two has to be shot down, right? that means the state of these numbers, one of the number from this also has been shot down, right? So if you see here, I can say for sure that 19 is the fighter that was shot down, which has not gone to the control room. Why? Because if 19 is gone, then 57 is also gone and 95 is also gone, right? So 19 is a code that is missing for the control room. Why? Because if I remove 19 from both of these numbers, right, so they'll be left with 3 factors and this will also be left with 3 factors, right? And if they are left with 3 factors, that clearly implies that now they are in the on position instead of off. That is where the control room is receiving this code. So 19 is something that is missing here, right? Apart from 19, now if 19 fighter, right, if the 19 code is like short, right, so can I say the position of 38 will also be impacted as well as 76, right? Now 38 has factors as 1, 2, then I can say 19 2s as 38, right? So we have 19 and we have 38, right? And what other numbers? Is there any other number that divides 38, right? Let's see. 1, 2, 4 is not, 5, no, 6, no, 7, no, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, no. So these are the numbers. Now, if 19 is short, right? If 19 has been shot dead, right? So in that case, 38 should be in the on position and the control and the room should have received the code of this, the control room, right? Because if 19 has been shot as per this condition here, then 38 should be in the on position and the control room should have received the code of it. Why? Because it is only left with 3 factors, but because control room is not receiving 38, so that means I can say this is definitely in the off position, right? Now if this is in the off position, that means 38 fighter also has been shot down, right? 38 also has to be shot down. And if 38 is shot down, so let's look at 76 now. So we have 1, we have 2, right? Then we have factor as 4, right? And then we have 4 is here, one of the factors of 76, isn't it? Let's see which other factors do I have for 76. I'll probably, prime factor is 76 here, right? Or maybe I can just list the factors. So 1 and then 76 should be a factor. If 2 is a factor, then 38 should be a factor, and 4 into 19. So these are the 6 factors, right? Now 19 is gone and 38 is gone. So even if I remove 2 factors from 76, right? Because 19 and 38 are dead here. So 1, 2, 4 and 76. I'm still left with only 4 factors. That means still switch number 76 will continue its off position and it is not receiving the code. So for sure 19 and 38 are the missing numbers in the code of the code that has been sent to the control room. So I can say my required answer is 19 plus 38, which is equal to 57. So that should be my required answer, right? So these 2 codes are not sent to the control room and 157 and 95 was sent. So these are the missing codes. 19 has to be killed. Why? Because I want 38, because I want 57 and 95 in the on position, right? And because if 19 is killed, then 38 also has to be killed because I want 38 in the off position because it is not being sent to the control room, right? And if 38 is in the off position, that means 76 should also be in the off position. So 19 and 38, right? So 19 impacts, see, because understand all the codes that are changing their position, right? We discussed they have to be the factors, right? So if 19 is a factor of 38 as well, right? 19 is a factor of 76 as well. So if 19 is short, so one factor of 38 and 76 is getting reduced, isn't it? So there, if one factor is getting reduced, right? So if they had even factors initially, then now they'll have odd number of factors. So the control room should get their code because now they'll be in the on position. But because the control room is not getting their code, right? So that means they are now in off position still even after 19 being shot dead. So I need to check which other fighter could have been shot dead. So I could figure out that 38 has to be shot dead. So that 38 remains its off position and 76 also remains in the off position, right? Let's move to the next one now. If the control tower receives the smallest possible code, when not more than 23 jets are down, then find the number of alphanumeric codes sent to the control room. Alright. Now the control tower receives the smallest possible code. Okay. So now we know that all the perfect scores will be in the off position, on position, right? If none of the fighters, if all the fighters are intact, right? So 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, and then we have 36, and then we have 49, then we have 64, then we have 81, and then we have, that's it, right? 100. So all these numbers, all these fighters, right? These switches will be in the on position, isn't it? But I want only 23 jets to be down. So what? Then find the number of alphanumeric codes sent to the control room. Okay. Now understand here. If if I want to minimize the number of codes that have been sent to the control room, right? So if I want to minimize, so I'll try to change all these switches which are in off position to off position, right? All these switches that are in currently on position, all the perfect scores, I would try to change them in off position, right? But if I try to change 1 to off, right? If I kill fighter number 1, isn't it? Then can I say all the 100 switches will get impacted, right? But I can only change 23, right? But all the 100 jets will be down in that case, isn't it? So if I change off, right? If I put 1 to off, isn't it? In that case, I can say all the 100 will be impacted, because if 1 is off, then every number from 1 to 100, which is a multiple of 1, their number of factors would gonna reduce by 1. So in that case, my number of codes going to the control room will maximize. This will not lessen, right? What about 4? Okay, let's talk about 4. So if we talk about 4, if 4 is shut, right? If 4 fighter is down, right? Then 8, 12, 16, 20, 24 and so on and so forth, all the 125 multiples, right? Their 1 factor is gonna reduce, right? And they'll all become now what? They'll all become in the on position. So their code is gonna go to the control room, which is not acceptable, right? But if you talk about, and it has exactly 25 factors, right? It has exactly 25 factors till 100, isn't it? So all the 25 factors, their position is gonna change, right? But I cannot have more than 23 jets down, isn't it? The maximum possible value of jets that can be down are 23, isn't it? So if I talk about 9 now, so 9 has only 11 multiples, right? Which is definitely less than 99, isn't it? Which is definitely less than 99. So if I try to work out 9, right? Let's try to work this out as 9 here. So let me just take a fresh page here. So if I write the multiples of 9, okay, 9, 18, you'll understand why I'm eliminating 4 and 1, okay? 36, then we have 45, then we have 54, right? Then we have 63, then 72, then 81 and then 99, right? Now out of all these numbers, initially which are in the on position, okay, let's see which are in the on position. So 36 is in the on position, okay, then we have 81 in the on position, right? 18, 27, 45, 54, 63, 72, all these numbers are initially off, right? Now if 9 is short, okay, if fighter number 9 is short, in that case this will now become on, right? This will now become on, this will now become off, okay? Now this will also become on, this will also become on, this is also going to turn into on position, this also into on, and this into off, and this one into on, right? Why? Because one factor is reduced for all these numbers, right? For all the numbers from 18 to 99, one factor has been reduced. And if so many are in on position, then there will be more codes that will be sent to the control room. So I'll try to minimize it. So I'll further knock down fighter number 18. So if I'm knocking down fighter number 18, so its impact will be on all the multiples of 18, right? So if fighter number 18 is knocked down, right? If I change this to off, okay? Now this has become off, right? So 36 will now be in the on position, right? Then I can say 18 3za is 54 will be in the off position now, right? 72 will be in the off position, okay? It will change its position, that's it, right? Now if I talk about 27, right? If I knock down 27, still I have a lot of on here, right? So if I knock down 27 and this becomes off, so 27 multiples, that is 54 will now become on. They are going to change the positions, right? And 27 3 says 81 will now become on. So it is going to change its position to on. That is the all impact that is going to happen, right? Now if I knock out 36, okay? If I knock out 36, right? So this will now become off, right? And 72 will again change its position to on, right? So all three are off till now, right? No other multiple of 36. If 45 is not down, the plane number 45, right? So this will become off, right? And if this is off, then 90, right? So there's 90 as well. Oh, I missed 90. I'm so sorry. 90 is one factor that I missed here. Okay, my bad. So 90 would be initially off. Okay, let me just write it here now. So 90 would be initially off, right? When 9 was knocked down, it would change its position to on. Okay, then 18 5 is 90, so this will again change to off. Then 27 will have no impact on 90. Okay, 36 will also not have an impact on 90, and 45 will change it to on. 45 will have an impact on 90. So now 36 is gone from here, right? and 45 is also right. Now what about 54? If 54 is off, not down, then this will change to off, and there is no multiple of 54. Similarly 63 not down, it will change to off, right? So if you see, all are in the on state. So if I knock out all of these, right, then all the states will change to nothing but finally off, right? So no code will be sent to the control room. Why? Because all of them are off. And how many of them have I knocked down? So I can count here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I've clearly knocked down 11 fighters, and because of that, all of them have become now off, right? So can I say this is minimizing my number of codes that have been sent to the the control room, right? So why 11? It is coming because there are exactly 11 multiples of 9, right, till 90, till 100, right? So by the same logic, can I say for 16 there will be 4 multiples, right? Not 4 multiples. Okay, so 16, there will be how many multiples? I can say 16 5 is 80, 16 6 is 96. So 6 multiples, right? So 6 fighters will be knocked down for 16. For 25, 4. Now when I talk about 36, so 36 is already a multiple of 9, so it has already been counted, so I don't have to count this again. 49, there will be only 2 multiples, right? 64 has already been counted as a multiple of 16, so I don't need to take care of this, right? Because whatever is the number of 64, multiple of 64 is already a multiple of 16. So when we have considered 16, so 64 is already included in the 6 here, right? So I don't need to consider this. 81 is also considered, and 100 is one multiple that I need to consider. So total number of fighters, the number of alphanumeric codes that jets were down were nothing but 11 plus 6 is 17, 17 plus 4 is 21, 21 plus 2 is 23. Okay, 100 is also not supposed to be counted. Why? Because it is a multiple of 25, right? So this is 0, right? Because 100 is a multiple of 25, so I don't need to count 100, right? So this is 0. So total how many fighters have I killed? Let's see. Let me just calculate this sum here now. So the total number of fighters that have been killed by me are nothing but these fighters. 11 plus 6 plus 4 plus 2. That is 17 plus 4, 21, and plus 2, 23. And that is exactly the number that I was allowed as per my question, right? So if in that case, can I say all of these will be off now? All these perfect scores will be off. Like we saw the case for 9. Similarly, I can list down the case for 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81 and 100. So in that way I can say that all of these are off. So only 1 and 4 will be on. So only 2 codes will be sent to the control room. That is for 1 and 4, which is A1, and for 4 will be, I can say, B1, C1 and D1, right? So A1 and D1 will be the codes that will be sent to the control room, which is exactly 2 in number. So that is my required answer for this particular question. Alright, now let's move to the fourth one. What will be the smallest possible code as mentioned in the Q3? So it has to be A1, D1, we just saw 1 and 4, right? Now we have additional information here. Let's see what it is for question number 5 and 6. All the jets are divided across 4 regiments. Okay, so north, then we have south, then we have east, and then we have west, right? So north has the 1 to 25, okay. South has 26 to 50, east has 51 to 75, and west has 76 to 100. These are the number of the fighters in the regiments, right? Now if all the jets of east regiments were taken down, okay, so all these are taken down, then find the number of alphanumeric code received by the control room. Okay, now understand here, if all the east have been taken down, so there will be no impact on these first 50, because all the multiples of 51 to 75 will be greater than 50, right? So if all of them are taken down, isn't it? So 1 to 50, there are how many perfect squares? I can say 7 perfect squares. So they will still be in the on position, all the switches. Now all these 51 to 75, there is exactly one perfect square in this range, that is 64. So out of 51 to 75, that is 25 numbers, 1 is on initially and 24 are off, right? But now what is going to happen? All these, I can say 24 will be now in the on position and 1 will be in the off position, right? Why? Because they have been taken down, isn't it? Now what about 76 to 100, right? So if you talk about 76 to 100, so 51 multiple is 102, which is not there in the range of 76 to 100, right? 52 multiple is 104, which is not there in the range of 76 to 100. So no multiple of 51 to 75 is in the range of 76 to 100. So for this range also there will be no impact, right? So if there is no impact on this range, in that case I can say out of 76 to 800, we have 6 square is done, 7 is 8 square is 9 square and 10. So 2 of them will be on and 23 will be off. That is 2 perfect square, which is 81 and 100. So the total number of codes that will be sent are nothing but 7 plus 24, that is 31, and plus 2 is 33. So there will be exactly 33 codes that will be sent to the control room. So 7 initially same, last 2 same. Here only in this range 25, which were initially 1 on and 24 off, now will change to 24 on and 1 off. Why? Because all these fighters have been killed, so one factor is gonna reduce, right? So if one factor is gonna reduce, then whatever was on will now be in the off position and whatever was off will now be in the on position. Alright, now let's move to the next question. It says if all the jets in the regiment south are taken down, then find the number of alphanumeric codes received by the control room. Alright, so if all the jets in south are taken down, right? So south has my jets from 1 to, okay, so if south has been taken down, so will north have any impact on that? No, right? Because there is no multiple of south regiment in the north regiment, right? So 1 to 25 will remain as it is. So if there are 5 perfect square in this range, so all the 5 switches will be, switch 1 to 5 will be in the on state and all the remaining 20 will be in the off state. So there is no impact on the first 5, right? Now these 20 numbers will be in the off state. Now what about south? Okay, so all the numbers from 26 to 50, can I say now they'll have one factor less because the fighters have been taken down, right? And if they have one number less, so initially I had 2 perfect squares, which is 60, which is 36 and 49. Now they'll be in the off position because they have one factor less. So initially if it was a perfect square, it would have had odd number of factors, making it in the on position, right? But now it will have even number of factors. Why? Because one factor has been reduced, right? And all the 23 non-perfect squares which are initially on now, which are initially off, now will become in the on state. Why? Because now they'll have odd number of factors. Initially they had even, but one factor is reduced, so now they'll have odd number of factors. So this is the position till the south regiment, right? This is for north and this is for south, right? Now let's talk about 51 to 100 range. Okay, 51 to 100 range, right? Now can I say each of these numbers of 26 to 50 range has one multiple in the range of 51 to 100 for sure. That is their second multiple. For example, 26 to the 52, 27 to the 54, right? Up to 50 to the 100. So how does it impact? For example, if I take the number as 64, which is a perfect square. So the factors of 64 are 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32 and 64. These are the factors, right? So these fighters are gonna change the position of switch number 64, isn't it? But now if you see here, these are 7 factors. So ideally if 64 switch was in off position, now it should be in the on position, isn't it? But since 32 has been killed, so 32 is not gonna change the position. So now it is left with exactly 6 factors, isn't it? So now it will still remain in the off position. So all the 25 numbers, right, from 26 to 50, isn't it? All these 25 numbers are gonna impact 25 numbers positions in the range of 51 to 100, out of which 2 are perfect squares, which is 64 and 100, right? So they were supposed to be on, now they'll be in the off state. Why? Because 32 and 50 have been killed, right? And the remaining 23, which are non-perfect squares, which were initially off, now they'll be in the on position. So 23 are more numbers which are on in the state of 51 to 100 as of now, right? There are few more numbers that I need to account for. Let me take a fresh page here. So if you focus on numbers like 78, 81, right? Then I can say 84, 87, then we have 90, then we have 93, 96 and 99, right? Now after 26 to 52 were killed, right? So it impacted 78. It was supposed to be off, but now it is on because there's a multiple. 39 to the 78, so 39, one factor has been reduced, it is changed to on position. Similarly 84, which was supposed to be off, but because of 42 it has been changed to on. I'll write the numbers here as well, right? Similarly 90 has been changed to on because of 45, right? This was already on. Why? Because it's a perfect square. 87 is off, 93 is also off, right? 96 is changed to on because of 48 has been taken down, right? And 99 is again in off position. So these 4 numbers here, right? These 4 numbers here, which I'm gonna highlight now here, that is 78, 84, 90 and 96, right? These 4 numbers are a part of these 23 numbers which are in the range of 51 to 100 that are non-perfect squares, which are now on, right? But understand for 78, not only 39 has been reduced as a factor, but also 26 has been reduced. Why? Because 26 3 is 78, so one factor more is gone. So that means if it is on, so now it has to be off, right? Similarly for 84, I can say 28 has been reduced as a factor as well. So if it was on, so now it will turn to off, isn't it? One more factor is gone. For 90, 30 is gone, so now 90 will change to off position if it was on, and 96 will change to also off. Why? Because 32 also has been removed, right? So out of these 23 numbers which I thought would be on, 4 of them are gone. So I am left with how many numbers now? 23 minus 4, that is 19 switches which are on in the range of 51 to 100, isn't it? Right? But now new numbers will be on as well, right? For example, so this on will turn to off. Why? Because one factor is reduced, that is 27. Right? 27 3 is 81, isn't it? So 27 is reduced, so this perfect square is going to change to off, right? 87 will get turned on. Why? Because 29 is reduced, right? So one factor reduced, so this is on, right? Similarly, this will also turn to on. Why? Because 31 has been reduced, and this will also turn to on. Why? Because 33 has been reduced. So can I say 3 new numbers are now on, 3 new switches? So 19 were remaining, but now there are 3 more, so that makes it 22, right? So from 1 to 25 we had 5 numbers, right? From 26 to 52, sorry, 26 to 50, isn't it? 26 to 50 we had exactly 23 numbers which are on, 23 switches, and then from 51 to 100 we have exactly 22 which are on. So if I add all these values, it will come out to be nothing but 50. So the answer for this question is definitely 50. So I can say here this is 50 codes were sent to the control room here, right? So with this we come to the end of this set. Let's move to the last set for this particular mock here. Now let's have a look at the last set of this mock here, right? So it says 4 friends, Alice, Bob, Charlie and Diana, went to a store to buy some items. Each of them bought different types of items, that are books, notebooks, erasers and pencils. Exactly 1 of them purchased books, exactly 2 got notebooks, 3 got erasers, and all 4 of them purchased pencils. Alright, so we have this information here. So books is going to be purchased by exactly 1 person, notebook by 2 people, eraser by 3 of them, and pencils by 4 of them, right? Now further it says the total number of books purchased was half the number of erasers that Alice purchased. So if Alice has purchased 2 erasers, then the total number of books here should be nothing but half of that, which is A, right? Now the total number of notebooks purchased was the same as the total number of items that Diana purchased. So books and Diana is same, right? Notebooks, right? Notebooks and Diana. Okay, so if Diana has purchased total of B items, then the total number of notebooks purchased will also be nothing but B, right? Further it says the number of pencils that Charlie purchased was same as the number of erasers that Diana purchased. Okay, so Charlie pencil is, let's say, C, so Diana eraser will also be nothing but equal to C itself, right? Now the total number of erasers was 10 more than the total number of notebooks. Okay, so total number of erasers is 10 more than total number of notebooks, so this has to be B plus 10 if number of notebooks is B, right? Which was 20 more than the total number of pencils purchased. Now here which corresponds to notebook, right? So which was 20 more than total number of pencils purchased. So notebook is 20 more than number of pencils purchased. So if my notebook is B, then my pencil is going to be B minus 20, because B is 20 more, right? Last point says Alice, Bob and Charlie purchased 3 notebooks, 4 erasers and 5 pencils. Okay, so Alice got 3 notebooks, okay, Bob got 4 erasers, and Charlie has got 5 pencils. So the value of C is basically 5, so this value here should also be equal to nothing but 5, right? Now, so we have this information here. Now can I do something in terms of A and B, right? So what I can do here is, we know for a fact that 3 people have purchased erasers, so this is definitely a cross here, right? So basically can I say that 2A plus 4 plus 5 is equal to B plus 10, right? So from here I can say that 2A minus 1 should be equal to B, right? 4 plus 5 is 9, 9 minus 10 is minus 1. So if the value of B is 2A minus 1, so let's substitute in terms of A everything. So this will be 2A minus 1. This will be 2A minus 1 plus 10 is 2A plus 9, right? And this will be here 2A minus 21, and this will be 2A minus 1, right? Now if I talk about Diana here, so we know that for a fact that Diana is definitely going to purchase a pencil, right? Now exactly 2 people are going to purchase a notebook, right? Now what are the possible combinations for Diana? Diana can either have only pencil and books, right, or Diana can have only pencil and notebook, right, or Diana can maybe have only pencil, right? It's possible that Diana can have only pencils, right? Or can Diana have all the three? Let's see. If Diana has books, right, if Diana has A books, for example, right, so the total value of Diana is going to be A plus 5, right? Total value of Diana is going to be A plus 5, right? Now if this is A and this is 5, and let's say Diana is not purchasing, so this is for book and pencil, right? Pencil and book. And then if something is there in pencil, I want this total to be 2A minus 1, right? So something plus X is equal to 2A minus 1. So from here the value of X will be nothing but I can say 2A minus A is A and minus 6. So that is definitely possible. So pencil and book is possible. A minus 6 is a positive number, so that is possible, right? So Diana can have only pencils and books, right? Now what if Diana has pencil and notebook, right? So if Diana has pencil and notebook, so we know for a fact that there are 2A minus 1 people that have purchased notebooks, right? And only 2 people have purchased notebooks. So if Diana has purchased a notebook, so I can say 3 plus, if this value is K, let's say here, so 3 plus K should be equal to 2A minus 1, right? So from here the value of K will be 2A minus 4. Now if Diana has purchased 2A minus 4 notebooks, let's say, and Diana has not got any book here, right? This is the second case that I am working on, right? Pencil and notebook, right? And eraser is definitely there. So 2A minus 4 is the number of notebooks with Diana, plus 5 is the number of erasers, and let's say P pencils, okay? So this should be equal to 2A minus 1. And then in this case 2A and 2A is cancelled, right? So the value of pencil will come out to be nothing but I can say minus 1, that is minus 2, which is not possible, right? That is definitely not possible. The number of pencils cannot be negative. So this combination of pencil and notebook for Diana is rolled out, right? Only pencil, if Diana has only pencil, in that case what will be the number of pencils with Diana? I can say 5 plus K should be equal to 2A minus 1, right? So in that case Diana will have 2A minus 6 pencils, right? If it is having only pencils, and 2A minus 6 pencils, right? So 2A minus 6 plus 5, if you look at this two values, so this will become 2A minus 1, right? And I want 2A minus 21 to be the total here. So minus 10 and minus 10 is something that I would need here, which is again not possible, right? So that means only pencil is also not possible for Diana, right? So only pencil and only pencil notebook is not possible. So the only possible combination is pencil and books, right? So I'm pretty sure that Diana can have only pencil and books. So let me just fill this here now. I'll take a fresh table here. So notebook is 3 here, right? This is A here. This one is the total was 2A minus 1, 2A minus 1, right? And then we have 2A plus 9 here. And then we have here 2A minus 21, right? And if I add everything, I'll get nothing but 7A minus 22 plus 9 is nothing but minus 13, right? And then Diana has a B, that is 2A minus 1, right? And Diana has purchased 5 erasers. Diana is definitely not purchasing a notebook, right? And Diana is purchasing A books for sure. And if this is A, then this has to be, I can say, 2A minus, we got A minus 6 pencils, right, for Diana in this case. So this is A minus 6 pencils, right? And we have 5 here. That is the data that we have. Erasers, 3 people are purchasing. I'm sure that this is 2A and this is 4. So this is also making the sum 2A plus 9 works. Notebook, 2 people. So this and any of Bob and Charlie are going to purchase a notebook for sure. I'm not sure who's going to purchase that, right? And we have pencils, all 4 of them are going to purchase. So let's say X pencils here and Y pencils here, right? So that is my complete table which I can make out from here. So because I'm putting across, so let me rather take some other value. Let's say this is okay, so I'll probably take a capital A and a capital B for this, right? The number of pencils will Alice and Bob, right? And notebook, one of these values will fit in. Okay, perfect. So we have this table till now, and this is my total. Now let's work upon the questions here. Okay. Now, what is the minimum total number of notebooks that 4 of them could have purchased, right? So total number of notebooks is definitely 2A minus 1. And if I want the minimum value of this, so I want the minimum value of A basically, right? And the only way to figure out the minimum value of A is I would say I'll go for this one, right? I'll go for this one. That is pencils column Y. Because we have all the 4 this thing, total 2A minus 21. And we know for a fact that both of them are definitely purchasing a pencil, right? So minimum value has to be 1 and 1, right? So let's see. So if I assume that this A plus B, right? If I assume that A plus B has nothing but let's say capital K. So I'll say K plus 5 plus a minus 6. This total is equal to 2a minus 21, right? So 5 minus 6 is minus 1. So this ongoing on other side will become plus 1. So this will become a 20 here, right? And here I'll get 2a minus a, that is a. So I'm getting a minus 20 as the value of k, right? Now we know for a fact that the minimum value of k has to be 2. That is the sum of x and y, the a and b here, right? The a and b that I took here, instead of x and y I took it as a and b. So this a and b sum has to be 2, right? Because even if I'm putting 1 pencil minimum, it has to be 2. So if this is minimum 2, then the minimum value of a should be nothing but I can say 22, right? And if the minimum value of a is 22, so if I substitute it here, so I'll get nothing but 2 into 22 minus 1, that is exactly 43 notebooks is the minimum number of notebooks that could have been purchased. Alright, let's move to the next one. What best can be said about the number of notebooks purchased by Bob if the number of pencils with Alice is greater than that of Bob? Okay, so if number of pencils is with Alice is greater than that of Bob, so that means for this particular question A has to be greater than B. So what can be best said about the number of notebooks purchased by Bob? Okay, so number of notebooks purchased by Bob is nothing but I can say, so Bob is purchasing a notebook, right? So this value is not possible. No, Charlie cannot purchase a notebook in this particular case, right? Now we know for a fact that 3 plus number of notebooks purchased by Bob plus I can say 3 plus number of notebooks purchased by Bob should be equal to, there are only 2 people who are purchasing notebooks, so this is equal to 2a minus 1, right? Now we know for a fact, sorry, I'm writing on the wrong page here, it is the next question, just give me a minute. Yeah, so what I mean to say here is that so 2 people are purchasing notebook, I can say, isn't it? So I would say that 3 notebooks by Alice plus Bob notebooks is equal to 2a minus 1, right? Now we know from the last question that the value of k is nothing but a minus 20, right? Now in this case, what will be the minimum value of a? If Alice has more pencils than Bob, right? So Alice should have minimum of 2 pencils and Bob can have minimum 1 pencils. So the minimum value of k in this case will be nothing but 2 plus 1, that is 3. If k is 3, then a has to be 23 to make it 3, right? And if a is 23, so this value will be nothing but I can say 3 plus Bob is equal to 2 into 23 is 46 minus 1, right? So that is 45. So the number of pencils that Bob can have is nothing but 42, right? So that is something that can be said about the number of pencils with Bob, right? So let's move ahead to the third one. Who purchased the highest number of total items, right? Now if you look at who purchased the highest number of total items, so I'm not sure who among Alice, Bob and Charlie purchased notebooks, right? So because I have this data missing here and I'm not sure about the total number of pencils also purchased by Alice and Bob, so I don't think this answer can be determined, right? Because you only know that Diana has got 2a minus 1 total this thing, right? So for sure Alice is gonna be more than Diana, right? But I cannot say anything about Bob and Charlie, right? So it depends upon the number of notebooks here, right? So the answer for this particular question should be definitely cannot be determined. So the answer is option number D, right? Let's move to the next one. If the number of total items with Diana is 48 more than the number of total items with Charlie, okay, so Diana is equal to 48 plus Charlie, right? Find the total number of items purchased by these 4 persons. Okay, so Diana is equal to 48 plus Charlie. Now Diana has got 2a minus 1 items, right? And Charlie has how many items? Let's see. So if Charlie purchases notebooks, right? If Charlie has purchased notebook, then in that case Charlie should have, I can say, 2a minus 4 notebooks. Then only this total sum will be, I can say, 2a minus 4 plus 3 will be 2a minus 1, right? So if Charlie has 2a minus 4 notebooks, then the total of Charlie will become nothing but 2a plus 1, right? But in this case, in this particular case, the gap between Diana and Charlie is of exactly 2, right? In this case, the gap between, if I can say, if Charlie got notebooks, right, then it has to be 2a, then the number of notebooks with him has to be 2a minus 4, right? And if it is 2a minus 4, in that case the total of Charlie will be equal to nothing but I can say 2a plus 1, and Diana has a total of 2a minus 1, right? So this gap is always constant of 2. It can never be 48. That means Charlie has not purchased notebooks, right? And if Charlie has not purchased notebooks, okay, notebooks, I'll put a cross here. So I'll say Charlie has not purchased notebooks, right? So if Charlie has not purchased notebooks, that means the total of Charlie has to be 5, right? Charlie has to be 5 here, right? So in that case, Diana will be equal to, I can say 48 plus 5, that is 53, right? Now if Diana has got 53, right? So that means Diana total was 2a minus 1. So if 2a minus 1 is equal to 53, so from here the value of a will be nothing but 27, right? And the question is asking me find the total number of items purchased by these 4 persons, right? So if you look at the table, total number of items purchased by the 4 persons is 7a minus 13, isn't it? So I can say if the value of a is 27, so 7 into 27 minus 13 should give me my required answer, right? So from here, what do I get? 7 7 is 49, 4 carryovers, 7 2 is 7 7 is 49, 4 carryovers, 7 2 is 4, 14, 189 minus 13. So 189 minus 13 is going to give me a 176. So that should be my required answer for this particular question, right? So again, the questions are not very tricky, but then they are all iffy questions. So you have to approach this set as question by question, right? Now let's come to the last one. If the total number of items purchased by these 4 persons is a perfect cube, then find the minimum number of erasers purchased by these 4 persons. Okay, so total number of items, that is 7a minus 13, I want it to be a perfect cube, so it is in the form of x cube, let's say. Okay, now we know that for a fact that the minimum value of a was 22, right? We had figured that out from the first question. So if I put 22 here, so this is gonna be 7 2 is 14, 4 here, 1 carry, 154 minus 13, so this value is 141. So the value of total number of items should be greater than 141, and I want a perfect cube which is greater than 141, right? So if you want a perfect cube which is greater than 141, right? So 6 cube, if you look at 6 cube, that is 216, that is the next possible number greater than 141, which is a perfect cube. So if 7a minus 13 is equal to 216, right? So from here I say 7a will be equal to 203, right? So the value of a will be nothing but I can say 7 2 is 14 and 7 9 is 63. So for a is equal to 29, the total number of items purchased will be a perfect cube. And now we want to find the number of erasers purchased by these 4 persons. Now find the minimum. So we are already working on the minimum value of a, right? At 22 it was 141, so next possible value has to be 29 when you get a 216, right? So number of erasers purchased by the 4 people were nothing but I can say 2a plus 9. So the minimum value will occur when a is equal to 29, right? So 2a plus 9. So if I put 29 here, what will I get? 2 into 29 plus 9, that is nothing but I can say, so 2 into 29 is 58 plus 9. So there will be exactly 67 erasers that could have been purchased as a minimum value by all 4 of them, right? So with this we come to the end of our detailed solution of this particular mock. I hope you guys have followed everything. If there are any doubts, please feel free to comment below.